flying with you.
Would you really get on with me? You'd fly with me, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You're safety oriented and you have the you're not crazy. So let's talk a little bit about No Agenda.
The program No Agenda?
Yeah, you've heard of it.
Yeah, surely, along with some 35,000 other people.
So I've been getting a lot of, since I'm doing a lot of Twittering, as you do, I've been getting a lot of commentary regarding the concept of No Agenda and what it means.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so,
okay.
Yeah, they always say, well, in fact, I said on a Twitter or on a tweet, whatever the hell you want to call it, a tutor earlier, that I'm going to explain what No Agenda means, and then somebody, Uber Chick, I think is who it was, one of my followers. Yes. She says, well, then by even saying that means you have an agenda. And see, this is what I'm going to try to point out is that we're talking about agenda in the meta sense. We're not talking about a show that has no list of things to talk about or things that we're maybe going to discuss here and there. But by no agenda, we mean we don't have like some sort of a meta agenda. Like we're not trying to sell something. We're not trying to get somebody in office. We're not trying to do anything. We're not scheming. And by agenda in this sense, I mean scheming, planning, plotting.
Yeah, because first of all, it's entertainment. Every show we do is intended to entertain the audience one way or the other. And I think you're right. When you do an entertainment show, of course there's some planning. But the thing that's interesting about this is we typically plan separately. So I have a couple of things. John has a couple of things. But we don't discuss the topics offline. But that has nothing to do with the agenda. It just has to do with the freshness of the conversation.
Right. We don't. Yeah. And we do. And sometimes, like last week, I don't think either one of us had a list of anything to talk about. In fact, the show took a good half hour before I got off the ground. And I also want to mention the fact that because we're doing it on Skype, it does take it takes more than a few minutes before the two of us actually
tune in. Yep. Absolutely right. Yeah.
With the timing of talking to somebody who is out of phase. Now, even with ISDN, I think would be out of phase because of the distance. Can I just
say one thing about that? Because I'm glad you brought that up. Because I learned a lot about ISDN, and I've been working with it for the past week, doing this thing for Aero Classic Rock in the Netherlands, and I do that with an ISDN connection. And the delay is literally 60 milliseconds. So it is like sitting next to someone. There is no delay, or the delay is so minimal that your brain adjusts to it within seconds.
Yeah, but that's the delay from there to the Netherlands. It's not the delay from there to California, which has got to be one of the longest distances, one of the longest throws for ISDN there is. And I have seen these overseas things.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Because I have learned something here. That delay, even to California, would still be minimal. And the reason why, because this is what I've learned, the reason why is you are actually getting two dedicated 64 kilobit circuits. There's no routing, there's no buffering of routers, and of course there's no waiting for packets that were lost along the way. So when I consider the and it's, by the way, it's using an AAC codec, so it's a kind of an open standard, and it's available everywhere. When I consider, though, how easy the ISDN codec makers have it, these boxes, because of that dedicated circuit, I have to say, what the guys at Skype have done, coming up with, what is it, maybe 600 milliseconds, it's a little more than half a second, it feels like. And you can even hear it on the show. Sometimes, when one of us responds to the other, usually with laughter, there is just that split-second delay. It's almost, sometimes I'll say something, I'm like, wow, I really bombed on that joke, but then the laugh will come in. But still, those guys at Skype have done a phenomenal job with minimizing the latency.
I agree, and it would be probably if we ever make money on this show, I'll put ISDN in, as long as and we'll do it that way, because it would be a little better, but it would only be incrementally better, but it would be better. I agree, because a direct shot between you and, because P2P is not really P2P on the internet. It's like, yeah, it's kind of P2P, but it's